good afternoon, everybody. I'm super excited about this class today on how to get a yes. Really how to be able to move people along in the process, whether it is from your very first appointment or conversation with them to getting them to say yes to the home, getting them to agree to writing an offer, all of those things. The very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask, and I'll give everybody about 15 seconds to do this. If you are in a position or a place where you can turn on your cameras, I'm going to ask that you turn on your cameras. I like to be very interactive with our conversations. So I am going to ask that you ask questions, things of that nature. There may or may not be a tad bit of role play. So I'll give you 15 seconds if you can to get your cameras turned on. Thanks, Tom, aka JP.
Yeah, I'm JP today.
I love it. Love it.
Just don't ask me any tech questions. I'm
I
not
will
JP
not.
in that
I
sense.
will not. My number one thing is actually, you know, getting forgetting to email JP like I'm supposed to.
Mm,
Yep. All right. I'm going to assume that most of us are in a position where we're not able to turn on our cameras, and that is perfectly okay. I am going to say if you have questions, bring yourself off mute to ask the question. Okay. So let's start with this. What are some of the most challenging areas that you have right now in your business when getting a client to agree with you or say yes or take your instructions? Do not be shy. No questions. No challenges right now at all. Okay. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to share my screen and I am going to present to you all a conversation. Let me know when you are able to see my screen. We're
we're
all
good.
set. We're good.
Yep.
Perfect. Perfect. So people ask, how do I get to yes? How do I get to the next phase? How do I get someone to actually purchase or sell a home with me? How do I get them to write the contract? How do I get them to stop backing away and not have cold feet anymore? The easiest way to share that information with you is literally what's on the screen in front of you. And that is what I call the four quadrants of motivation. So, quick show of hands or a quick, hey, that's me. Has anyone ever heard of this conversation before? No? Okay. Well, guess what? I get to be the first person to present it to you. So, here's the thing about this conversation, it is a hybrid. Okay, it's come from quite a few different places. And what it does is, and feel free to take notes on this, in this very first box that says positive present, this is where we should be having this conversation in our consultations up front. This is where we get goals. This is where we start asking someone the why, the reasoning behind them wanting to purchase or sell their home. Okay. So let me ask you this question. When we think about a client who's coming to us because they want to buy a home, what's the reason we think they might want to buy a house? Why do clients come to us to buy a home?
More space.
Because they want more space. Okay. What else?
Upgrade.
They want to upgrade. What are they looking to upgrade exactly?
Larger square footage,
More square
or
footage.
or a different town with a better school system.
Okay. Different town with a better school system. All right. What else? What are some of the other things that people are looking to purchase a home for?
They want to start building equity.
They want to start building equity. I love it. So let me ask this question. Now, Frank, I saw you came off of mute. Were you going to chime in there?
It could be less space. Opposite of
Give me less
Tom.
space.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Maybe it's job relocation.
yeah. I love that. I love that. These are all what I would consider to be high level goals. As a matter of fact, I would say that some of these aren't even really goals at all. right? When we hear that, hey, I'm looking to upgrade my home, I want to buy another house so I can have more space. Do we just take that information and continue to move forward, or do we stop, put a pin in that, and ask more questions about what that means?
Ask more questions.
We ask more questions. Donna, tell me, what are some of the other questions we might ask?
Uh, okay, so wait a minute. I got two things going here. I got the phone and then I just took a walk. Okay, now we're good. Okay, so all right, you want to upgrade. So are you pre-approved for extra money?
Are we pre-approved for extra money? All right, I got it. Hey, you want to upgrade? Are you pre-approved for extra money? We definitely can ask that question. Let me ask you this. How much more of a yes, or how much closer to a yes do we get by asking and finding out if they're pre-approved?
Well, yeah, you got to know that. Otherwise, how are you going to make the sale? We have to make sure they can afford it, but how much can they afford? Because in this market, everybody's going $100,000 over asking price.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So let's think about this. We have a client they're able to afford. We already did our first conversation where we were able to learn whether or not they were looking to actually purchase a property, purchase a home, right? Now, our goal is to get them to say yes and actually move forward. When we're in this first box, this positive present, when we're collecting goals, it's not so much about do they want to purchase a home and do they just need more square footage? It's the why. It's the things that we're going to be able to tie back to the emotional aspect of them. It's the reason that they're really going to say, hey, you know what? I absolutely must purchase this property. So I'll give you an example. I'm from North Philadelphia. Amazing place to be, especially if, and I know this is real estate and this is being recorded, so somebody please cut this part out. Especially if you're looking to live in the safest neighborhood you could ever live and never have to worry about anything at all. Corner of Broad area is exactly where you want to live. That is 100% joke. Okay. It's so much a joke that 9 times out of 10, when we're speaking with someone who lives in the neighborhood that I grew up, they're not looking to buy a home just to have another house. They're looking to purchase a home because they're looking to create a better environment for their family. They're looking for a better future. They're looking for, like someone said, maybe a better school district. And when I hear better school district, I don't stop there. I ask the question, hey, so talk to me a little bit more about the school district. What kind of lifestyle and what kind of future does that create for your children? We drill in 2, 3 deep to find out, okay, ultimately what's happening is now Frank is looking to move from where he is to where he desires to be because it takes his children and his family out of a position to where he's constantly in worry. He's constantly afraid of what's going to happen if the child goes to a bus stop. Are they going to even make it home? He's worried about whether or not they'll be able to have a good education and a good future, to get a good job, to be able to take care of their family further down the line. That's what we're really looking to understand in positive present. Just like when I talk to a realtor and I say, hey, are you making your 20 contacts a day? Up front, it's like, no, I'm not making 20 contacts a day. Well, let's talk about why we're not making 20 contacts a day. Or what happens when we make 20 contacts a day. Positive present says, hey, I'll make 20 contacts a day because I know that I'll be able to have more appointments, which means that I'll be able to have more contracts and clients, which means I'll be able to sell more homes and I'll be able to make more money. And ultimately, I'll be able to now afford the house that I want to live in. I'll be able to have the car that I want to. I'll be able to get out of debt. That's what we mean when we say goals. That's what we look for in positive present. Now, once we get that information in positive present, we move down to the second box, which is negative present. This aspect of the conversation is super easy, and it also gets to be delivered the right way. There's not a whole lot of talking that happens here. Instead, once I get all that positive present information, all those goals, I get to say, hey, Frank, I love that for you, man. I can't wait until you accomplish that. I can't wait till you get to do this, that, and the third for your family and your friends, and can't wait till you're out of debt. Let me ask you, where you are right now, are you able to accomplish everything that you just named?
No.
Yeah. Right. Now, notice how my tone dropped, right? I was super excited with Frank when we were talking about positive present and all the goals. I'm there. Yes. Like pom poms ready to go. We're celebrating. And then I bring him into a space of reality where we talk about negative present and the fact that where Frank is today, he is not able to do all the things that we just named. All right. Now, go ahead. I see some faces. Go ahead and ask me the questions. What are you thinking about right now? I see some people looking at me like, why do we want them to say no? It's okay. You can ask that question to me.
Well, it's not
Now,
necessarily no. It's just, I do have to worry about them going to the bus stop. I want to make sure I can be there for when they get home. And just expanding. Obviously, that's just what you're asking them to do is really expand upon, that motivation, right?
yeah. Yeah. And what happens right here at Negative Present, I get them to come to reality that where they are, they're not able to have the lifestyle that they live. As a matter of fact, if they were able to have the lifestyle that they desire to live, they wouldn't need to purchase another home. I just leave it there. And then I move to my favorite part of the conversation, not because I'm mean. We move to the favorite part of the conversation because this is where the most impact happens. It's negative future.
Mhm.
So before I explain what negative future is, who'd like to give me a guess of what negative future actually is?
Well, if you stay where you are, you're going to have a lousy lifestyle. Your kids might get kidnapped somewhere or lousy school system. They're not going to be educated nicely. They're not going to have good friends. And you always have to be fearful.
And so, Donna, first of all, I want to give you kudos for speaking and saying that. Second of all, you're absolutely right. And here's my follow-up question for you. Who is the person that's saying all of that? Is it us or them?
Them.
Them.
Make sure
100%.
it's them because it shouldn't come from you.
Absolutely. I want them to now describe just how horrible their life could be. As a matter of fact, if this is done perfectly, Tom can attest to this, and this is one of the things that people used to make fun of me about all the time. I was known for being the coach that would make you cry. Okay. And I have no problem having this conversation with my clients and having a box of Kleenex next to me and making them cry. As a matter of fact, if you cry from this conversation, I know that I've done my job correctly.
Mhm. Can confirm.
Because at the end of the day, when we discuss negative future, you just told me, hey, yeah, where I'm at, I'm not able to live this life. I'm not able to get my kids away from the bus stop that might bring death to them. I'm not able to get my kids away from the school system that's not going to educate them properly, that's not going to be able to provide them with more opportunities to have scholarships to, be able to get certain degrees and go into certain fields or whatever the case might be. I want them to think about those things. As a matter of fact, what I really want them to do is tell me now in negative future, what happens if we don't make a change? Well, if we don't make a change, then my kid's still gonna end up having to walk to the bus stop. I'm just gonna pick on somebody. I'll pick on Cassandra because she's right there next. And I asked Cassandra, hey, Cassandra, tell me about this. So if your kids are still waking up every morning and, going to the bus stop, you're waving them away from the door in fear. What exactly are you afraid of at that moment? And she might say, well, 3 weeks ago, there was a child who was going to school and unfortunately got shot and killed at the bus stop. And, I hope that that's not my son. I hope that that's not my daughter. Cassandra, tell me more about that. If you were to say goodbye, give a kiss to cheek to your child and send them off to the bus stop, expecting to see them later, you don't see them at 3 o'clock or at 4 o'clock or 5 or 6 o'clock rolls around and you haven't seen your child yet. And you turn on the news and you find out that that was your child that was murdered at the bus stop. How would that make you feel?
Oh my God.
Do you feel how cold everything just got? Right? You
Mhm.
see the little bumps that's on your arms right now. We're not actually talking about you and your goals. This is where we invoke emotion because we say this all the time. Logic makes you think, emotion makes you act. The logic is I'm looking to purchase a home because I want to be somewhere better. The emotion is here's what can really happen if I stay where I am. So we get them to list all these things. By the way, realtors, since I'm talking to you, when we don't make our 20 contacts today and we don't have the contracts coming in and we don't have the new clients and we don't get to actually put homes under contract and we don't close on transactions and we don't make the money. This is the part where
We're losing you.
realtors,
We're losing you. Your audio is going out.
nope, my video went out,
Your
All right.
audio. It was
audio went out.
it was
Got it.
cold and stopped.
Yeah. Looks like you're
What was
good
the
now.
last thing you heard?
Oh, forget it. Just move on. That's okay. We understand. Move
Well, I
on.
wasn't sure what you heard, but this is what happens is in negative future, this is where we get people to think about literally the worst possible scenarios. And then we get to like dig way, way down where they are now that they're lying on the floor and in tears. We get to lift them back up in positive future. And in positive future is where we paint the picture. In
Mm.
positive future is where we say, hey, Frank, Donna, you know, there's a method called feel, felt, found, and this is where we use it. As Frank, Donna, I've spoken with so many people that literally have felt the same way that you do right now. They were afraid of these things happening. They were afraid of this, afraid of that. And what we found was when we have an opportunity to partner together and we fully understand what it is you're looking to accomplish, and we add the systems that we have as a real estate team, we've been able to help over 2,000 people who've been in similar situations as you be able to create a better lifestyle. We've been able to help them accomplish the goals. As a matter of fact, this for us, this is not about just helping you buy a house. This is about helping you create a better future. I want that for you. So my question is, are you really willing to partner with me to help you create that? Let me ask you, once we go through that whole story about everything that you want and you're super excited, you done told me all the goals, you done described your dream house, you done did all this wonderful stuff, you done realized that you can't have it where you are, and then you realized everything that could happen and how bad life could be if you stay where you are. And then I tell you that we've been able to help over 2,000 families do the same thing that felt the same way. How many people would say, no, I don't want to work with you after that?
No one.
Absolutely right. Nobody's going to say no to that. And if they
Mm-hmm.
do, guess what? You don't desire to work with them
That's correct.
because they likely don't really know what they want at that point.
Right. In most cases, they
This
just
is the
they want the lifestyle, but they don't have the money, and they're looking and they want to waste your time. So move on. Let's go. That's it.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it, right? Now, here's the thing. Some people, you get to ask a few more questions after this. And you get to ask, well, let me ask you, you may not feel like you're ready right now. If I was able to put together a plan to help you get where you desire to be, would you be willing to work that plan out with me? I'm not talking
Sure.
about buying a home, right? I'm talking about helping you save money. I'm talking about helping you build your credit. I'm talking about helping you with whatever the challenges are. Because at the end of the day, everything we do is we guide, we advise. It all comes down to the way that we communicate, right? I don't want to put anyone on the spot right now. Maybe in about 3 to 5 minutes, I'll put some people on the spot. So just be prepared. What questions do we have about this conversation, the 4 quadrants of motivation?
That's fine. It works.
0 questions?
No.
Okay. So let me tell you how we continue to use this to move forward. Now imagine we've already done our search.
You're freezing again. You seem to get frozen.
All right, he's back now.
Yeah.
I'm back. I'm back. All right.
Yep.
That's
there you
what
go.
Sorry,
happened.
I'm in the office. I'm not home.
Okay, so the internet is not good there, I gather.
We got a lot of closings today. That's probably what it is.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so here's the thing. Now that we found the homes and now that we're doing the showings, we come back to this conversation. Hey, Cassandra. Hey, Donna. Let me ask you, as we walk through this home and talk about this house, could you imagine yourself living in this home? I just want to get a small yes. Okay, great. Hey, when we first met, you told me that you were looking to do X, Y, or Z. We're going back to positive present now. And that's why having this conversation in the consultation is so important. Because during showings, what I get to do is go back to the goals that they told me, everything that was so important, and ask them whether or not they could imagine themselves living this lifestyle. And I don't stop there. They tell me yes. Well, what do I do next? Show of hands. What do I do next? Somebody screaming out.
Okay, let's move forward and let's make the offer. I need a pre-approval. I have several people that I could share with you. Get your pre-approval and let's make the offer. You already set them up.
All right.
Now you
Well,
got
Donna,
to
I love
close it.
that. Now we got to close it. Here's the thing. My goal is that we already have this pre-approval before we even get to the showing. What about
Absolutely.
right in that moment, reaching out to the agent and getting some information while you're there? Communicating
Absolutely.
with the agent. This is leverage for both you and your client as well as with the seller. This is where negotiations and everything start. This is how we get closer to a yes by saying, hey, Frank, I'm over here at your property right now, 123 Main Street, and I'm with my client. And, we do believe that this is a home that they could see themselves in. I have a couple questions for you. And we start asking questions. And I'm going to do that for each property that I'm in. And I'm going to ensure that my client, the person that I'm in that home with, understand that we're doing this for 2 reasons. One, to ice the other side so they know that we may be coming to them with something. But 2, I'm getting them to solidify in their mind and in their heart that this is a home for their lifestyle. Okay? Once they tell me that this is a home for their lifestyle, let's imagine we're past the showings now. We've made the offer. We're under contract and we're going through inspections. And things come up. And they're like, hey, you know what? I don't want this house anymore. Boom, I'm going right back to the conversation we had. I'm going right back to us in that showing. And I'm asking once again, hey, Donna, when we first walked through this home and when we were in our consultation, you mentioned the lifestyle you were looking to have. And inside the home, you said you could see yourself doing all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Has anything changed, or do you still believe that to be true?
Well, I really want the lifestyle, but I'm not fixing that plumbing that came up in home inspection.
Donna, I completely understand. Completely understand. You don't want to have to take care of the plumbing. Let me ask you this. If I was Morris,
You froze again.
we were able to a great conversation for us to have to get one step closer to you having the lifestyle you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You froze. You understand that? You're still frozen. Oh, this is really bad. His connection stinks. This is not good.
Pros.
How can you help that along? I don't know, but this is
I
really.
was gonna say, I think I froze.
And
Jared,
Donna, And Donna, the point, to point to Jerry's question to you as the consumer, if we could get that plumbing fixed, wouldn't it be worth still moving forward to get that
Of
lifestyle you
course.
desire?
As long as the seller pays for it and not me. That's it. That's the way it works. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. I'll make sure they do it. And that's
All
that.
right, here we go. I'm back.
All right, you're back.
I stopped sharing my screen, and hopefully that'll help a little bit.
Okay, we'll
It's that
see.
Philly office. They don't have the good
Well, I know-
Wi-Fi in Philly, Donna.
It's that ridiculous Xfinity, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what we have. I'm just throwing that out there. Hopefully that's not it.
Mhm.
But here's what happens now is I'm going through this conversation and I just keep going back to the first consultation. I keep going back to the goals and the lifestyle. As a matter of fact, there are certain words that we get to use. And if you've paid attention, I've never said what they had to do. I've always asked what they got to do. I've always asked what they desired. Because when I use those words are what we consider to be helpful words. And there's a difference between helpful words in a conversation and harmful words in a conversation. So for instance, the plumbing that Donna is mentioning, it might cost us $1,000 to get that plumbing fixed. And yet here's a question that I would ask Donna is, Donna, we talked about how amazing this lifestyle could be for you and all the changes that would be made there and what this
Oh,
would
You're
do for you and your
frozen
family.
again.
Let me ask you, do you believe that are we back? It's not freezing on my side. I'm still seeing you all too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll deal with that with the
Yep.
plumbing. If we got to split the difference, let's split the difference. Let's get this over with, okay? Ah,
But
you're
here's the
killing me.
Here's the thing that we ask here with Donna is $1,000 investment, is her lifestyle worth the $1,000 investment?
Yes, it is. Yes, my family's worth $1,000.
That's
I
a
want
real
them to
conversation
split
we
the
have there.
I want them to split the difference. It's not fair for me to take on this response. It's their house. And we gave them over asking price too.
And then we continue to have the conversation with Donna and we'll say, well, Donna, there's a lot of other people that would like to have a similar lifestyle to what you desire.
Mhm.
We just keep going back and forth on that.
Yep.
But
Got
now
it.
what we don't say is cost. I don't say this is how much it's going to cost. This is how much the home is going to cost. This is how much the repairs are going to cost. Because when we look at cost, we look at that as something that we're giving up and we're losing. When we think about investment, we're looking at something that we get a return on. When you make an investment, you get a return on your investment. And when you are investing in a home, you get a return on your personal investment. The investment into you and the investment into your family and the investment into your future.
Mhm.
The
That's
words
right.
we use when we are having these conversations go a long way. There's a great book that I'm going to make a recommendation to everyone on. If you do not have it, go get it. Has anyone seen this book before?
No, I know this
Exactly
stuff.
What to Say by Phil Jones.
Mhm.
Phil Jones is not your average coach. Phil Jones is a master communicator. As a matter of fact, he also happens to be a partner now with Keller Williams. He has coached us as coaches for Keller Williams. And fortunately, we've been able to bring him on and coach with our team, our sales team.
Mhm.
And when we talk about the things like exactly what to say, and we're looking for a close, and we presented a situation, not an argument, but we presented a situation to someone, I'm able to say, hey, Frank, wouldn't it make sense if dot, dot, dot? Wouldn't it make sense if we decided to go ahead and invest in this particular property, invest in this home? Wouldn't this make sense for your future? Wouldn't this make sense for your family? How
Absolutely.
we ask the questions. Yeah, thanks, Frank. How we ask the questions, how we present things to people matter. Going into a consultation like we just did when we started and saying, hey, I know you wanted to buy a home. What's your budget? How many bedroom and bathroom are you looking for? That's generic conversations that almost everybody has. It doesn't set us apart from anyone else. Going in and drilling three deep, and okay, so you said you're looking for 3 bedrooms. Tell me a little bit more about that. What's important to you about the 3 bedrooms? What does that allow you to do? Showing them that I'm investing myself into their future and that I care about them helps us to be able to get a yes at every other stage. Phil Jones also says this. Now, this is where I'm probably going to make a few of you upset. And because I love you, I don't care. All right. Phil Jones says the worst time to think about what you're going to say is when you're going to say it. Who's willing to take a stab at what that means?
But you don't know what to say. So then you have to be careful of what you say. So it's a scary situation. You know, you have to say something that's going to allow them to say yes and move forward. But you'll get there. You know, I don't have to read that book. I've been doing this for 25 years. I know this stuff already. But for people who don't, then yes, they should read the book. But, you know, it's all a matter of getting those yes answers, and it's all about the emotion. You're absolutely right. It's the emotion that moves them forward.
Yeah. Yeah. What if there was a way for us to be able to get more yeses faster?
I do that.
Right? That's where the investment comes in, right? That's where the time comes in, and having people like Phil to be able to speak to us around that. But here's the fun part. When we think about what Phil says on the worst time to think about what you're going to say is when you're going to say it, what he's really talking about is the fact that we are not going to conversations fully prepared for the possibilities and the potential outcomes. One of the things that I can tell you right now, right, our team, they hate when we talk to them about practicing script practice, conversation practice. Hey, did you get a chance to go over your experiences? But guess what? When I have something like this, a seller experience that walks through the full process and everything that we're going to do, I never have to think about what I'm going to say to my client about the process, about the systems. Instead, what I get to do is actually open up my ears and listen. And because I know and I've studied and I have that time put into practicing and rehearsing the different possibilities and the different outcomes, when they speak, I don't think about what I'm going to say next, because as I'm thinking about what next, I'm actually not fully listening. We're not actively listening. One of the things that Gary says is we have, I believe this is in Shift, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, so that we can listen and then speak.
That's right.
And too frequently, the reasons that we're not able to get to the yes as quickly as we would like or at all is because we listen and then we speak. And all we hear are some of the words that are being said to us, but we don't hear the full situation. We don't fully process what's being said. And instead, what's happening is we're not thinking about, or we haven't thought about what was going to be said. I know that when I talk to a client about buying a home, I know that they're only really looking to purchase for a few different reasons. Now I get to practice ahead of time how to get them to say yes and how to get them to move past what their situations are. I get to practice ahead of time how to console them and how to comfort them and how to get them to realize that we can have what they're looking for. And here's the portion of the process that allows them to get there. But if I'm not prepared for that conversation ahead of time, I'm listening to the words and I'm just coming up with something and I don't hear the underlying issue. As a matter of fact, when we respond to people right away, it's usually because we're not fully listening. It's because we were thinking about what we wanted to say. I don't want to give you a solution right away. What I really want to do is ask another question to ensure that I fully understood what you were saying. That long pause was on purpose, by the way.
Oh, you're right. You're funny.
Yeah.
Well,
Do,
Jared, the
do
answer
you
to
all
your
use the
question,
long pause?
the pregnant pause.
Go ahead. Yeah,
Hmm.
the pregnant pause. Do y'all use that when you're in consultations?
Hmm.
You
Mhm,
should.
And the person who speaks first.
Loses.
That's
Yeah.
right. That is correct.
Jared, the answer
Pregnant
to your
pause has
question
a.
earlier. Well, the question,
Yeah, go
answer
ahead,
the
Frank.
question, the answer to your question earlier was, what we don't practice on our clients and customers. So yes, Phil Jones, um, and the work he's done. If you look at the luxury learning series and stuff, Phil's been big influence on
Mhm.
Brady Sandel and some of them. So just elevating your game. Conversations matter, words matter.
Mhm.
Yeah. Conversation matters, words matter. And I'm going to go back to the conversation matter. Um, when we think about communication and we think about speaking to people, we oftentimes think about words. And yet, one of the largest things that we should be thinking about is our tone. Our
Yep.
tone is massive in getting people to say yes or no. Everything that I said to you earlier when walking through the four quadrants, had I talked about the fact that someone was worried about their child standing at a bus stop and being killed at the bus stop with a smile on my face and saying, "Oh my gosh, can you imagine if your son died at the bus stop?" You think I'm getting a yes with that? Not at all. So we have to be able to appropriately share how we feel and show them that we actually feel. Show them that this is not just about a check. Again, I'll go back to what I said earlier and then I'll open up for questions. Logic makes you think, emotions make you act. It's not just their emotions. They also need to understand that they can trust you, that you have empathy and you understand the emotions. It goes back to something called the trust triangle. Right? Logic, authenticity, and empathy. And when we display those things, we're able to communicate at a higher level. And when we practice, yeah, there's that word again. When we practice, not only do we get to communicate at a higher level, we get to communicate with more confidence. And if you know me, one of the phrases and the things that I say all the time is that competence equals confidence, and confidence is closings. Competence comes from us practicing and studying and understanding the different situations and conversations that we can have. Confidence comes from going over and rehearsing those things so many times that I don't need it in front of me to be able to deliver it. The closings come because the people who are in front of us, they see that. How can someone hire you? How can someone choose to continue a transaction with you? How can someone provide you referrals if they don't feel as though that you are confident and that they can trust you to do the best job for them, their friends, and their family? And with that, I'm going to open it up for questions. What questions do we have? Don't be shy.
Hi, Donna. How are you?
I'm good, sweetheart. Good to see
I
you.
don't really have a question, but I'm gonna say it feels really kind of counterintuitive bringing the the client that you're talking to down. Like
Mhm.
you want to have them feeling that positive emotion moving forward and kind of like dragging them down to try and bring them back up. It just kind of like feels weird.
Yeah. There's a great book out there that a lot of people use for sales, and it's not a sales book. It's actually the biography of Ben Franklin. And one of the things that Ben Franklin talks about is when you're selling, you want to be able to give people options and you want to present different situations to them. So Ben Franklin would say that if someone rejects your first offer, you present them with an even more unrealistic offer. And then the last thing that you presented to them makes more sense than they give you a yes. In this situation, what happens is, Helen, if I have you super excited and up and positive, you are excited about that. But without that negative understanding and that negative outlook, there's nothing to compare it to. So I can just go and do something else that might work for me. And that's where you get into the habit of showing someone 40, 50, 60 homes. That's where someone says, you know what, I'll just find another one, or this is okay. What we're doing is we're getting a great understanding of what's important to them. We're showing them the potential outcome if they don't make that move and don't make that decision. And then we're allowing them to look at those two things simultaneously or side by side to continue to move forward.
Okay.
It's the psychology aspect of sales.
Okay.
Yep. People will tell you that real estate is not sales, it's advising. And guess what? I agree. It is advising. And how do we fully advise something if we don't know their full situation? And if they don't understand their full situation? A lot of our buyers, a lot of our sellers are only concerned about one thing, and that's buying a house or selling a house. They don't even always think about the whys, the reasoning behind buying a home and selling a home. So when we present those things to them, they now understand the purpose behind making a purchase. I think I might use that as another class, the purpose of the purchase. Could also be a sermon title. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
Yep. What other questions do we have? Or statements?
I
We're all
have
good.
a question. This is Mona Hall. I'm just
Yes.
wondering, can you tell me the name of the author of the book that you recommended?
Phil
Yes,
Jones.
Phil Jones.
Phil Jones. Okay,
Yep.
got it.
Phil
Okay.
Jones. Yeah,
Thanks so much.
my
Seems like,
pleasure.
it sounds like it'll be an interesting read. I'm excited about it.
It is, and it's not very long. It's one of the books that I tell people, along with kind of Shift and the MREA, or now the Rookie Real Estate Agent. Do not treat this like a regular book. This is not something you just read through cover to cover and enjoy. Treat it more like a textbook where you're highlighting and taking notes, right? One of the things they teach us as coaches is when we're reading, what we do is we write down one question per page. And then next time we read through it, we write down another question. And what those questions do is it allows us to fully understand or to understand more what's being said on that page. Something that would challenge you or challenge someone else that you might speak to about the book. That gives you more detail and that allows you to be able to put it to use even better. Yep.